Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the podcast. Dave, we tried to do this like 2 days ago and it did not work. Welcome
We
back.
did. We had some technical difficulties. We got what, like 10 minutes in.
Yeah,
Could not resolve it, so we were like, you know what, scratch it. Save it for another day, which honestly kind of a blessing in disguise with how much has gone on in the disc golf world in the last 2 days. So,
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of kind of cool, gives us some time to talk about things.
for sure. Um, First things first, we have a very, very big thing to tell you guys. I found out today, I texted Dave.
Oh yeah, you didn't respond. You didn't tell me if we were going to go through with it
Uh,
or not. All
okay.
right.
Okay. We're not putting out the second part of the text that I sent you. We're only talking about the first part.
Okay.
Um, Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to announce that Dave and I will be the captain of the Another Round Salt Lake City Disc Golf Shop content team.
Yes, sir. That was wait, wasn't that number 2? That was number 2 on the
I
text.
don't know, dude. What did I say number one? Hold on. What did I
No,
say
you're
number
good.
one?
Number 1 was the thing that we talked about like a month ago and
Oh,
the
yeah.
other day.
Yeah. We're yeah, that will be a later podcast, maybe next time or the time after, but that is coming soon.
Gotcha.
Um,
Gotcha.
but yeah, I talked to Ben today, and he said, "Yep, you guys are on the podcast, the content team. You guys are the captains." So that's really exciting. More news to come on that, but we thought we'd share that with you guys. Ben said we could leak that a little early. You know, it's kind of fun. He should be announcing teams before Christmas. That's what he told me today.
We
But you know, it could be a cool Christmas present for some of you guys. I got a
yeah.
little inside intel on who's getting picked up and who's not, and
Ooh.
ooh, baby.
Do we get to do the announcements for that now? Ben should let us do the
Oh,
announcements.
he should let us do the announcements. That would be freaking funny. I'm texting him right
Yeah.
now so I don't forget.
at,
Um,
at least have us in the shop for it,
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
you know.
Let me text him real quick. You
Okay.
distract the people.
Distraction. Imagination. So, another shout out, just because Ian's distracted. Um, Ski shop by my house, 7 skis or 7 even skis, whatever it is. It's right across the street from my house. Got some work done on my skis. Amazing job. Um, they
Awesome.
needed a lot of work,
Yeah, they did.
so they did an amazing job. They give an industry discount out to people, so if you work within the industry, they also give a discount.
Sweet.
But amazing work. So if you ever need stuff done on your skis, go check them out.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a sponsor, just love those guys over there. So
Yep. I took my boots into Christie Sports today, the one on Wasatch. If you ever need boot work, go hit my guy Jacob. Great guy. All right, let's jump into things. So, we're the captain of the content team, Dave. How?
yep.
I mean, I found out today. We kind of knew, like we had talked to Ben about it, but he like made it official. How are
Yep.
you feeling about this upcoming season?
Dude, it's gonna be fun. I think we have a lot planned. It's going to be it's gonna be a lot of work, but I think it's gonna be a lot of fun at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of ideas out there, a lot of things we want to do to get the community involved as well, which I think would be super fun.
Totally.
And I think people get excited when, it's like, hey, we're going out to film a video. Do you guys want to come with us or be a part of this kind of thing? And people get so excited about that.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to have Another Round Salt Lake kind of backing us on it now and being able to like have a little more influence and pull on some things.
Yeah.
So
I'm very excited. Like I said, don't want to spoil too much, but we have a lot of awesome ideas coming up. I'm excited to play in a lot of tourneys and do some other really cool things with tournaments coming this, spring and summer. You know, the winter's tough for us. You know, we're working up at Alta. It's hard to get down and even get around in disc golf. Like, I've putted a few times in the past like 2 weeks, but like I haven't thrown a disc full power in weeks. You know.
I was able to get out and play in the Creekside League this Saturday.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Not well. I think I still shot technically above my rating, but
Hmm.
it was windy, low light, snow on the ground still, which I was kind of surprised about because there wasn't even snow at your house yet, but Creekside had like snow covered
Yeah,
everywhere, kind of.
yeah.
Um,
And I'm kind of up on the belt where we tend to get a little more snow.
yeah,
And Creekside's not
but
there, but
it was still fun getting out there and playing. I still cashed, which always happy about, you know.
hmm
But my throwing has definitely been real wonky. My putt, I'm spinning like crazy right now. Apparently, I'm making like 50 footers without stepping.
sick.
Um,
Love that.
yeah, but the rest of my throwing game is my timing is so inconsistent.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Uh, Also, need to yell at Ben. I asked him to film some stuff for me, and he did some commentary in the background. Thanks, Ben. I'll show
Thanks,
you the
Ben.
videos,
Yeah,
Ian.
yeah, please do. I'd love to see those.
You will laugh at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
I'm gonna post that reel tomorrow, um, about the disc that I was able to throw.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But Ben did some commentary on one of the shots. I'll send it over to you
Yeah.
afterwards. You can
Sick.
laugh at that.
I'll love to. Thought Space is coming out with some new discs. Um, they're
Praxis
they're
and Mantra.
yep. Go check those out when they come out. I think they come out on the 18th. Not 100% sure on that. And the shop honestly has a lot of great options right now. Like I went through some of that used section, and there are some money discs in there. There's some like newer runs of stuff that are pretty sick. So go check that out. Um,
That
they,
used section is insane.
yeah, I browsed through there a little today because I went and stopped in and got some tacos and hung out for a little bit. But it's looking really good right now.
Hmm.
So, all right. So we are 3 weeks away from Memorial.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that shocking?
Yeah, it feels like it's normally in like February or like
Mm,
early March.
no, we are 3 weeks away from Memorial. We've seen
Wow.
some pros play some tournaments recently. We saw Goss, we saw AB, a few other pros play that Big Arm Challenge down in Arizona. I'm sure other pros are getting out and about it and starting to like kick up their season here pretty soon. But with Memorial being 3 weeks away, it's kind of the start of it. It's a start of a new year for disc golf.
Yes.
We'll be seeing a lot more drops coming out, a lot more um, content coming out. Starting mid February to March, I would say is when we're gonna try and start getting some more stuff out. Um,
Mhm.
we're probably looking more March. Just I have some big stuff that we can talk about in a minute that I haven't told many people about, but yeah. So Memorial starting up soon. Disc Golf Pro Tour season's really like not too far away. You know, it's I think it's sneaking up on us faster than we thought.
Yeah. I think it always does, especially now that they have those wraparound events and things like that that kind of count for points.
Hmm.
Um, It'll be interesting to see do the new rules go into effect at 2024 or do they go in effect when the first Pro Tour? Because it wouldn't make sense for the Pro Tour because the rules are for everyone.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. That's something that we should have looked into a little more, but I don't know off the top of my head.
We'll have an answer next week. Or if you know, comment down below.
Please,
Let us know.
please do that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump into the really, really big news. Actually, before we do that, March, we're gonna try and get some content out, but I, I told Dave, I told you this, right? What I'm doing in March. I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, I told you.
Yeah.
I know I did. You just don't. Okay.
You tell me no, you tell me a lot of things, dude. Like
I
there's
know. I
so
know.
much going on. It's so hard to like
I know. I so I'm sure most of you know, but I'm a ski instructor, and I applied for a scholarship to go to basically
Hmm,
biggest
that's right.
um, the biggest convention of ski instructors in the world. I applied for a scholarship. I got the scholarship. I got invited to go to this. So that second week of March, I will not be in Salt Lake. If we're doing a podcast that week, I'll be up in Big Sky, Montana, shredding with some of the best ski instructors and ski people around. So I'm really excited for that. So after that is when you start looking for content. That's all I got.
Yeah. I did know about that. I didn't realize that's when it was.
Yeah, well, it's kind of weird because it's like it's the second week of March, and that's normally like our one of our busier times in ski school.
Yeah.
And they just take half the ski instructors away, not half, but like they took a good chunk of ski instructors away from resorts, right? Like there's four of us who got a scholarship, and five of us going. One of our buddies is paying his way in, and it's not cheap to go. So I'm very grateful and thankful for that. And like I've been really trying to focus on ski school this year, and like it's a big year. I have a lot of like ski exams and stuff coming up in January and February. So podcasts will try and be a regular, but videos are going to be far and few between.
Yeah. We definitely have a lot of ideas out there. I think after the new year, depending upon certain things, the videos might look a little different, but we'll see.
We also have two videos that we're working on right now. Both just need to be finished
3.
editing. 3?
Yeah. I still have that old one
I know.
from
That's
the
one.
summertime.
That's
Oh,
one.
really?
The one we
that one.
the one we filmed a few days ago.
What about the short one at Art Die? Or is that just not? Are we scratching that
Which
one?
short one at Art Die?
When we did the small brand challenge, we
put that up.
We also filmed something else that day.
Oh, we did. Yeah, I think we scratched that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I went through the.
I didn't see any of the footage.
It was like a 2-minute video by the time I cut it down. Yeah, we'll just scratch that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we still got 2 videos that we still need to put up.
One, I think we'll put up on Christmas Day for like a little Christmas opening, and you know.
Yeah. That'll be 3rd then.
What? I'm so confused. Just spill it. Just spill it. Just spill it.
No.
Okay.
No.
Anyways, we'll have that up on Christmas Day, and then one other one coming up soon.
Yep.
So that's the content update for you guys. Holy shit, we're 12 minutes in and we haven't even started talking about what we were supposed to talk about today.
That's why it's the off season.
That's why it's the off season, baby. Ross Tester put out a new movie. We just watched it.
We did, dude. That was amazing.
That was so.
I love kind of just like the narration over top of like a lot of really amazing clips to kind of give you that insight kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like, such a cool way to do ski edits.
Yeah, dude, we got Ballroom dropped today.
Dude, I didn't see that until like my run down because I went up and around to get back, and I look up and Ballroom's open, and I was just like, why can't I go down Ballroom? Because I had to get back to clock out.
Yeah, it was right.
So I could have.
It was right after you left us on the chair today. We're like,
oh really?
Yeah, we were like, bye, Dave, and they had just pulled the rope as you skied over.
God damn it.
Yeah, go look at my story after this, and you'll see.
Oh, I saw. I did see that actually.
I was literally the first one in that shoot, and I was literally just waiting for Hannah to like go film it because she skied around.
Yeah.
And by the time we filmed it, Hannah was like 3 people had dropped in. I was like, ah, it was so fun though.
I was gonna say, is it still rocky though? Because
the rocks are very
so
obvious.
Thin.
The rocks are very obvious right now. Like I didn't hit anything, but where there are rocks, you can still see them because it's that time of year.
So
where
like the sharks.
Yeah, the
sharks are covered.
Sharks are covered, but like the stuff that like are a little bigger than the sharks aren't quite covered, and you can see them still. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That was my concern with Ballroom. Mm-hmm. Plus, I just got my skis fixed, so I'm like, let's not destroy them day one.
Yeah, fair. All right. Big news in the disc golf world. At this point, it's really not big news, but we're gonna talk about it. Ken Climo said, "See you to Innova." It's pretty much like guaranteed he's going to Discraft now.
It's been reported, but neither side will confirm nor deny, which usually means that that's the case. Mm-hmm. But in that case, if he goes to any other manufacturer, I just don't know. It's worth it to him, right? Like, he's going to make money regardless. Somebody will pay for that name because 12-time world champ, like, you can sell discs with his name on it kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it just kind of taints it a little bit for people like me because I'm like, cool, Yeah, he is a 12-time world champ, but he did it with rocks and wraiths and everything else, not with destroy or not with
Nukes.
nukes or wherever else he might go. Like if he does go to a different manufacturer and he's like, well, Discraft doesn't have a line of like rocks, like let's make Discraft's rocks kind of thing, and it's just
Sure.
like, but that's not the disc, right? Like that's not. I don't know. It's it'll be interesting to see what actually happens with it if the deal is less about that and more about having him as like a commentary or like a person within the business almost
Mm-hmm.
more so than just you know an athlete, I guess you would call him,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and like look at it from our perspective, right? We didn't grow up watching Climo. We're growing up watching
Mm-mm.
Paul Macbeth, Gannon Burr,
Yep,
right? And like we didn't get into the sport till Paul's goat years were
done.
done, pretty much, right? Like we
I
went
think
back and heard about it and watched it.
the year I got into disc golf was literally the Conrad year.
Yeah, yeah, same here. So like we're
So,
not seeing, for us old. I don't want to put us in the old category of disc golf, but for the people who have been around the past few years and longer,
mhm,
that's not going to sell discs, right? Him going to Discraft is not going to sell me a Discraft disc, right?
right.
I'm going to go look for that 12-time world champ Wraith, you know? I want that Wraith.
Yeah.
Whereas like people maybe Discraft looks at it as like, "Hey, they're trying to become the Innova and grab all these beginners into their circle by being, hey, this guy won 12 championships, not with our discs, but he won them. His name's now on this disc, right? So I think it's more of
Hmm.
a piece to the newer people coming in, the new generation, right? And then, maybe it is a marketing stunt and where maybe he is more on the business side of things and he's not playing as much, maybe it's that, or maybe there was something with Innova that he didn't like anymore. Who knows?
Yeah. From the post Innova put out versus what Ken put out on his joint Facebook account. I like how I keep using these air quotes on his joint his joint Facebook account. Um, it sounded a lot like Innova was like, "Oh, we're sad to see him go, but we're supportive," and he's like, "Nah, I'm gone. Like, see ya."
Yeah.
So it kind of sounded like there was more of a falling out on that end, but at the same time, like you don't play anymore. Like he's done one commentary gig in the last how many years? He doesn't have a social media following. Like the sport as it's growing, you start to see a lot of pro people like pros because of the content they put out outside of disc golf.
Yeah.
As much as that is kind of just like a modern way of thinking, it's also like who are the most popular people? Simon, who big following. Even Brody Smith has a big following, and he's not even a good pro technically. Um,
Yeah.
like
And I I
Paul
want
does, but Paul won, and he has a big YouTube presence and following
mhm.
on social media.
Yeah.
Like,
And we're going to jump into a little more of the social media side of stuff here in a little bit, but I just don't understand why I don't understand why Climo would leave Innova, right? He's probably making pretty good money over there with
he might
all of
not have had a good royalty deal on his discs.
yeah, but he was probably making at least decent money, he's
Mm-hmm.
and then why would Innova let him leave? You know, I can see it more of Innova wants to let him go. I have a hard time seeing it was Climo's thing, and I know he said like, "Oh yeah, I'm out." But
Mm-hmm.
if I'm a 12-time world champion with the same disc for all 12 of those world titles, and I'm not playing anymore, does it matter where I go? Right? Like
Well,
go ahead.
here's some other big news in disc golf that kind of relates. Will Schustrick, who another old time pro, is now the CEO of Prodigy. Um, so he is somebody that started and did his whole career essentially with Prodigy discs, and after the PR issues they've had in the past with suing Gannon and everything else, they basically were like, "Cool, we'll bring in like the big disc golfer to run the company kind of thing now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you see that like he was like, cool, I'm here, I'm staying, I've done my career with it, like my name's associated with it kind of thing.
Totally.
So it's interesting to see Climo doing almost the opposite and just being like, nah, I don't want any part of you guys anymore
Yeah.
after doing his entire career there.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting. It's I don't want to say it's guaranteed. It's pretty much guaranteed that he's going to Discraft. If it's some other company, they're keeping it hidden very, very well. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if it's not Discraft, who do you see him going to?
I don't really see anybody else bringing him on because, again, what are you paying for? You're paying for a name, right? Um, it's more so I'm curious to what the deal would be that he would get
Mm-hmm.
outside of like doing his own line of discs kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's the only real thing that I can see him being successful in is like doing the Scott Stokely thing, right? Like Stokely discs. Now you're doing a line of like Ken Climo discs,
Yeah.
which those two I know don't necessarily love each other, but that would be hysterical to see those two go in on a business deal together.
Yeah. And I if it wasn't Discraft, I could see him going to a smaller company. Maybe a DGA or a. I don't really see him going to Discmania, but like one of the
No.
smaller companies who doesn't have a ton of discs, right? Who are the top three companies who have the most discs that are unique to that company? Innova, Discraft, MVP, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they have the fullest box of discs, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like some of these other companies, I'm just gonna say DJ and Viking because I know those. Like I throw a lot of that plastic. They don't necessarily have a full line of discs from 13 speed to 12 all the way down to putting putters.
Castplast.
Castplast, yeah. Clash is getting there. They're coming out with discs like every week. It feels like at this point. At least over the summer.
Yep.
So yeah. But we'll see where Climo goes when we hear an update. I know we're a
Am,
few weeks late on it, but when we hear an update, you'll hear an update through us.
am, am, am I frozen on your side, Ian?
Yes, you are. You're very frozen.
Yeah, hold on. Let me...
There you are.
And we're back.
We're back.
All right. Cool.
All right. Next thing. Going back to pros and touring and social media. Drew Gibson has announced he's having a baby with his
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend. Congrats, Drew. We're very happy for you. And he has taken some time to think about what he wants to do with his disc golf career, and he has said, "I'm going to." He's basically taking his touring schedule, shrinking it down to 6 to 8 events a year, not a season, a year,
Mm-hmm.
and wants to focus more on the content side. We've already seen Drew post 5 videos from that video, which came out 6 days ago.
Yep.
Um, Thoughts, Dave?
I think it's a solid move for the fact of his season this year seems to have been kind of shaky. I know he was like injured for a little bit. Um, he didn't play very well throughout the season at a lot of events. He had a few that he did really well in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think he just has so much going on with like finish line discs, his disc line, keeping up with social media, and now trying to do the whole like family thing. I completely understand why he would kind of back away from playing in tours.
Mm-hmm.
And I think honestly, financially, it's probably more profitable for him to not play in a lot of events.
Yeah.
Because the cost of like traveling, staying at these places, doing everything else versus like his monetary value of putting out YouTube videos and whatnot, like doesn't really cost him much to make a short YouTube video, but he's definitely making money from it, kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Um, so I think it's actually a really solid move for somebody in his point in the career. Um, just be around more, right? Like he put out a whole thing about how his dad kind of worked his life away and he thought that was normal. And he's like, no, actually, I want to like be around for my kids.
Totally.
So like, I totally get how it's very difficult to be like, hey, I'm leaving this week. I'll be back tomorrow for a day, and then I'm leaving again. Like, I totally understand that aspect, but honestly, I think it might be better for his financial and media presence. Like, you could still be a big figure in disc golf media by not being a touring pro.
Yeah. And we see that with, Bonanza. We're trying to do that, obviously. Um, but, right, like, we see someone like Simon who's getting, I don't want to say the tail end of his career, but the better days are probably behind him for the most part, right? You know,
Yeah,
especially with these courses getting longer and harder, and like we're seeing a new generation come up. I actually, I was kind of shocked by the news, but it makes total sense because at USDGC he Monday qualified and ended up placing top 10 in cash.
yep,
Like, and he barely broke even from that. Drew put a whole video out on that, so I really like Drew, and I really like his videos he puts out. I think they're short for the most part. They're sweet. They're fun. A little more serious side of disc golf. Um, but I think he's gonna start aiming towards that more fun side, and he does a lot of sit down videos of like what's wrong with the pro tour and all this and that. So those are very interesting and very like up to dating. It's how you keep up to date. How would I say that? I don't know. But videos that keep you up to date on what's going on in like
yeah,
the off season, especially. So
yeah. He's. I think we're gonna see a lot more pros go that route, regardless, almost, because I think a lot less manufacturers are keeping people, which we've already kind of seen them dropping pros, especially in like the lower down. And if events aren't necessarily profitable to go to, even when you do cash at them, like you're gonna pick and choose your events a lot more purposefully. Like I think we're gonna start seeing a lot less touring pros at every single event.
hmm
I think it's gonna be more of a not a random field, but a lot more of that like Q series level field
sure,
at some of these events.
yeah. We just need Nike to come in and just dump a bunch of money into disc golf, please and thank you.
Yeah, just have Nike make frisbees, throw their name on it. Like
Yeah,
they could afford to buy up a Prodigy or somebody else and just be like, boom,
yeah,
swoosh,
yeah,
boom, Nike discs, let's go.
yeah. I actually think that would be a great move from Nike or any of those big, sporting manufacturers, right? How many how many sports do we see a Nike basketball, soccer ball,
Football.
basketball? Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yep.
Just put your name on a disc for me, please.
I think what
When do we? Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, the translation between when like pickleball blew up, there were so many people that played tennis that were like, pickleball is fun, right? Like I enjoy doing this. I'm a tennis pro.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of moved over, right? People
Yeah.
were like, this is easy to do, easy to get into. You don't really have golf pros being like, disc golf is cool.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't that like translation over to it.
Totally.
And I think that's kind of what we're missing. If you had like a Tiger Woods come out and be like, yo, I like playing disc golf in my free time because it's easy to do and it's still kind of like golfy kind of thing, people would lose their mind.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh, hey, what is this disc golf thing now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I. My question to you, Dave, is when do we see a big name company come out of the woodworks and be like, "Hey, we're gonna collab with a company A to make set amount of discs, right? Let's just
I
use
think it,
let's just use the big two. When is Nike gonna come to MVP or Discraft? Be like, hey, we've seen you guys have put on some really like you've brought in some really great athletes.
mhm.
Let's make them a special disc and Nike will sponsor them, right? When are we gonna see that?
a while.
Yeah.
I think until there's a money in the sport, which is really hard to do. Um, I think it'll be a European company first because we do see people like Kristen Tatar have big sponsorships outside of disc golf. You know, she's got the gambling company. Is it Audi that she's sponsored by,
I was about to say it's.
or
I thought it was Porsche. I could be wrong.
Porsche? Yeah, it might be Porsche.
Yeah.
She's got a big like car manufacturer sponsor. Like she has a lot of big names outside of disc golf essentially sponsoring her. And I think that's because she is a big name in Estonia, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
people in Estonia know who she is because of disc golf. Um, I think it's going to take a big European company to come in and bring that like sponsorship money into it. And then eventually American companies will start being like, oh, okay, like this does work as a model. Like people do care about it and can, put money into it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, Either that or a disc golfer just needs to become like famous outside of disc golf.
Yeah.
You know,
We need the next
we need
James Conrad Holy Shot, and then he needs to make a YouTube channel, and boom, we're there.
and marry a princess.
Yeah. lot asking for.
Yeah.
So.
I do think it's going to take something outside of disc golf. Like I said, like a well known celebrity, like an F1 driver becoming like big into disc golf, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, I can bring some of my sponsorships in and do an event or something.
Yeah. Yeah. We just need something. You know. I feel like we're at a stalemate in the sport. Kind of like if you're in the sport, it feels like a stalemate. If you're outside the sport or like new to the sport, it feels like it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we're kind of at this like slow upward trajectory, and I wonder if we're gonna crash before we go up or go up before we crash. You know, that's the question. So, it's a stock market trading game.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like if you look at disc golf, it was very like slow, and then the pandemic boom was just like massive,
Mm-hmm.
and now we went back to that same old trajectory, but we're now at a much higher level essentially.
Yeah,
So everybody's like, well, why can't we grow the way we did? And it's like, well, you need something else dramatic to happen in the sport,
totally.
at least in my opinion.
Yeah, sweet. Um, we have seen a lot of gyro box openings lately.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you guys have any sick gyro boxes, like any sick pulls, please let us know. Leave a comment down below. DM us on Instagram. We'd love to see your gyro boxes. You know, if you're on YouTube only or Spotify only and you don't follow us on Instagram, go to the Instagram. We had like a 30-minute live video with Luke who bought a bunch of gyro boxes, and he was nice enough to reach out and like open it with us. We didn't buy any ourselves. We just didn't feel the need to, I guess.
I just have so many MVP discs that have gone in and out of the bag. Um, I didn't really need a lot of the frisbees that came in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would love to throw like the balance and things like that, but a lot of the R2 plastics and everything else, it's like I have 7 NVs. If I get another NV, great, but also yeah, all NVs.
There's 2 runes and 6 alpacas in there, but yes, everything else is enemies.
Yeah. Like I think I've become a lot more picky about the discs that I want to buy because we've done so many reviews on things and like trying out new manufacturers and whatnot, and it's like super cool. You can make content from it, but also I don't need to spend that money and on, you know, 2 discs that I want out of a 10 disc box.
Yeah,
So
totally. Totally. We've talked about the big things. Is there anything
well,
else? Oh yeah, go ahead. You have
okay,
your
because
thing.
you didn't hear about this, so
I did
this is
not.
also a learning process for you. GK Pro has rebranded to Go Throw Disc Golf. So GT Disc Golf instead of GK. And they are starting up their own Pro Tour this year or 2025. So they will be doing Pro Tour level events separate from the PDGA, or I guess from the Disc Golf Pro Tour, DGPT. Um, and they're doing a full kind of like rebrand and shift over. So they haven't put out a whole lot of information on what that means, whether or not they're still going to be doing like skins matches and all that other stuff. But Luke Humphreys did put out a video about them kind of rebranding and going into this new direction. Um, so it'll be really interesting to see because I know that the Disc Golf Pro Tour was using a lot of the filmers from GK Pro.
Mm-hmm.
So there might have been like a contractual thing that they were like, cool, we're not getting paid for this, or like we used to put out a lot of content with like chase cards and you kind of took that away. So like this might be a direction for competition as well with the Pro Tour, which could boost watchability for a lot of people as well.
Yeah. We talked about it a little before, but my thing is it gonna be probably not this year, but will we ever see the gatekeeper or GK throw turn in
Go throw.
go throw? Will we ever see them go into something where, hey, you can either pick to be on the pro tour or you can pick to be with us? And does that cause a money issue, a balance issue? Like, are they gonna pay these pros more for cashing? You know, or where the entry fee is gonna look like? Like that all comes into consideration. If you're on the pro tour, you can only do disc golf pro tour events, or can I jump back and forth?
Yeah, a lot of people are kind of not comparing it, but like I've already heard some people put out like, hey, it's kind of like the live tour
That's
with
exactly what I was
golf.
thinking.
Um, I don't think that the GT tour, yeah,
Yeah,
GT
yeah,
tour,
yeah.
uh, first year will be anything massive. I'm interested to see how the events play out, like where they go. Do they follow similar to the Pro Tour schedule? Do they go to different places? Like, are we going to start seeing more mountain golf? You know, do we
Mm-hmm.
see them come to Utah and Colorado and Montana? Like, out here more so because the Pro Tour we already know only really makes stops on the East Coast, Texas, some in the Midwest, and then California
Mm-hmm.
and Portland.
Yeah.
Um, but that's pretty much it. Like the whole like Midwest to West side is just not really represented. So I'm interested to see like where the events are, who's going to be playing in them, the filming process, if it's going to be free. Like, do we is that a part of our subscription base, or are those events going to be on YouTube only? Like, I'm very interested to see how this is going to play out, and maybe it will force the Pro Tour to also make some bigger changes
Yeah.
that we've all been looking for.
Yeah. It'll definitely be interesting. I'm personally very excited for it. I always like watching disc golf coverage, and I've been honestly pretty bored of the disc golf pro tour coverage. Like the commentary is pretty dry. It's just what it is, right?
I mean,
But
half the time the commentary is not even accurate.
yeah. So I'm very interested to see what's gonna happen this summer and moving forward. Um, I think it will be good for disc golf. It's more exposure to the our sport. It's more exposure to the companies. It's more exposure to the players, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can only be a good thing unless they mess it up and make it a bad thing, right? It's pretty much on them to figure it out. And if they start doing what the disc golf pro tour has been doing past few years and just like giving us bad coverage, giving us pretty awful ways to view. Oh my gosh, it's so expensive. If they start doing that, I think it's gonna draw a lot of people away. But if they keep it, cheap and they have decent coverage and decent commentary, like I'm all for it. I'd love to see more pros. I want to see, the people we don't see a lot. We want to see the Connor Rocks. We want to see the Kai Kims. We want to see, the Anthony Bonanzas, who maybe aren't on the pro tour all the time, but they have a tour card here and there. I want to see those guys being able to play tournaments and see like, all right, this is a pro level. This is the next step down because that's closer to us. As
Right.
amateur, hopefully being going pro sometime in the next 2 year players.
Yeah, we'll see if it plays out to be more of a Corn Ferry Tour as well. Like, you know how the Corn Ferry Tour
Mm-hmm.
is the stepping stone kind of thing.
Yep.
Um, they tried to do that with the Q series, and the people that getting their Q series. Pro Tour did in my opinion, a terrible job of representing those people. That you didn't see any posts about coverage for the Q series final event, or like it was one Instagram post for like here's the 5 people that made it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there was no big celebration or like bringing hey these are the newest people into the sport that qualified that could be the next James Conrad, Paul Macbeth, whoever. Like
It's who's right? We just had the Heisman, right?
yeah,
Where's the Heisman into the draft, right? Where is that point of the off season?
yeah,
Like is that this the GT Pro now, right? Is that what that is? Or is it going to be, oh, these pros don't want to go back out east, they want to stay out west a little longer? We'll have to wait and see.
yeah. Or hey, I don't want to go play in Europe this year, or like the timelines don't match up, so I can come back here and play.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? Dave, pull your phone out, please.
Yes, sir.
I sent you something a few days ago, and we're going to talk about it. Um,
Big question is what thing?
so the Disc Golf Pro Tour asks a lot of pros what your favorite
Mm,
holes are. And oh my gosh, how many freaking reels have we sent each other in the last 2 weeks?
too many.
Too many. Wednesday at 5:16 p.m. is when I sent this to you.
Yep, I got it.
You got it. Okay. For the people at home, please go look at the Disc Golf Pro Tour Instagram. It's on there. The number one holes picked by pros only. It's kind of an interesting selection here.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk
It
about?
definitely, it definitely makes sense though.
Yeah. I'll talk about hole one. You go through hole
Yeah,
two, and we'll keep going.
yeah.
Northwoods Black, hole 12. Picked by Alden Harris, Isaac Robinson, Nicholas Antela, Aiden Scott, Chandler Kramer, and Evan Smith as their favorite hole on tour this year.
I think a lot of people enjoy a very challenging hole,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what 12 is.
Yes.
It seems like it's a very like fair but very hard hole.
Yes.
Um, and I understand why people wouldn't like it. It'd be like if somebody picked hole 4 at the fort,
Mm-hmm.
right? You'd be like, it's so hard. It's like yes, but it's also like very fair in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy to take a quad on, and it's very hard to birdie.
Yes.
So when you do, it's like the most satisfying thing in the world.
Yeah.
I think that's why a lot of people really like that hole.
I think I would love to go play that hole and see what it's about.
I'd love to go play that course and see if, as doubles, we could shoot 18 over.
Yeah. All right.
uh,
Next up.
Next hole, Maple Hill, the 8 hole, or as the fans there are called, the 8 holes, A-holes. Um, it's hole number 8 at Maple Hill. The fans sit. It's an island hole, throw across water. It's what, like 350 feet ish,
Yeah.
somewhere in that range. And all the fans sit all around it and just scream the whole time. It's Paige Pierce, James Proctor, Thomas Gilbert, Raven Newsom, Tomas. Yep, and Lisa Fakis.
Thank you.
Favorite hole.
Nice. Fun, par three. You know, make the island. You save at least a par unless something crazy happens. Miss the island, you're putting for par on a death putt.
Yep.
Super fun looking hole.
That feels like a hole that I could just sit there and throw my whole bag at all day.
Yeah.
Like I'll lose a few discs, but I definitely want to like throw like half my bag at that.
Yep. Okay, next up, Fox Row on hole 18. The tough par 4. Ricky Wysocki and Jacob Semerod voted. Jakob Semerod. Yeah. It's a good fun hole. I think Ricky likes it because he birdied it 2 times in a row to win a tournament there.
Yeah. It's also one of the few holes that has like a big elevation change that they do play on tour
Mm-hmm.
for like a big downhill shot that you can get real aggressive with.
Yep.
So I could see why that would be a fun hole to play.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, next up we got Winthrop Hole 5, picked by Simon and Parker Welk. It is a par 5, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
playing way across the water. So upshot, upshot. And if you got the arm for it, you can launch one across the water. But I definitely have seen people do another upshot to make that less challenging. But that pin placement during Winthrop is always like, what, like 15 feet from the water?
Yeah, it's so tight. It's
Yeah.
so tight. Sorry.
It's it's definitely a scary hole, but I could see why a lot of pros would like that.
Yeah. Moving on to our next one. The Toboggan, hole 5, picked by Holland Hamley and Kona Montgomery. Um, that just looks like a fun downhill, throw a mid range or something down the hill and just have fun.
Yeah. It's a very like dead straight shot, which in my opinion is like the hardest throw in disc golf.
Yes.
Like you kind of want something that like either flips up, rides straight, maybe a little bit of turn, but like I can imagine me hitting a tree about 10 feet off the fairway almost 20 times.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Next hole.
Back, going back to Northwoods Black, hole 15, picked by Matty O and Andrew Marweed. Par 4, I believe.
I believe so.
Hole
Yes.
15. Fun little another tight wooded course.
Mm-hmm.
So far, we've only really seen one open shot outside of the hole 8, which is a water hole.
Yeah.
Um, I think a lot of pros just like when you have to throw tight technical shots and you do it successfully. It just feels so good.
Yeah. I would agree with you. All right, moving on. Olympus, hole 18, picked by Kevin Kiefer, Andrew Presnell, Paul Kranz, and Micah Groth.
I don't even know that I know. Oh, I do know this one. Throw Down the Mountain. It's
Yep.
the Florida tournament, chess.com.
Chess.com. Yeah. A lot of elevation. A lot of elevation
Get
change. Par 4. Just
big bombs.
big bombs.
Plus, like, throwing a big bomb downhill and then a big bomb uphill.
Yeah. For sure. All right.
All right, on to the last. Brazos Park East, hole 17, picked by Jared Stoll and Hannah Wynn. This is the one that I think they had to add a Mando
Because of the
off
thumber.
the tee pad. Because, well, that and Simon was like throwing backwards off the tee pad to get there.
Yes.
He was like going backwards up and over everything. Mm-hmm. So they had to add in a Mando, and it's almost like a little horseshoe shape, which I think is really fun in disc golf because it makes you try to figure out how to get to like the end of the horseshoe and where you can kind of like get around to make it less technical on your second or third shots.
Yep. Do you know what all those holes have? Almost
Trees.
all of them. Trees and come on.
Technical upshots?
Come on, Dave. Don't disappoint
What?
me like this.
All of them have?
Elevation change.
Oh, yeah. The 8 hole doesn't really have elevation
Okay,
change.
yeah, but like, okay, do you know what that means? Disc Golf Pro Tour. Get your butts in checks, come check out Brighton, and come out and play a mountain course. Please, we want to see it, people.
I mean, the old videos of like Eagle throwing down the mountain on that par 4 at Solitude.
Yeah.
Like, Paul Ulibarri came out, used to play in the tournaments out here, Solitude. Like, now we got Brighton, which is, in my opinion, almost a better course. Because, well, it's newer, it's updated, it's been modeled to be a pro level course. So, like, get out here, play around, have a Q series instead of having it at the fort. Have it up at Brighton.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Dave. Um,
or do like a Brighton and Fort kind of thing, like a 2-round
it's
tournament.
too far.
One day is up there.
It's too
Yeah.
far apart, unfortunately. But yeah, we need to see something up here because I've played disc golf. We've played a lot of great courses. You know, we've played Beaver Ranch.
Hmm.
We've played the Fort. We've played Brighton. You know, I've played some course up in Alaska where it's beautiful. You know, they have not. It's so far away that they will never hold a pro tour event up there. But like,
No.
there's local pros who are shredding and could be on the tour.
Well,
Come
and
to Utah.
Yeah.
and we have proof that you can film at Brighton because Central Coast came out to film Utah States twice now at Brighton. So, for anybody saying that you can't film on mountain courses, that's just a lie because we figured out how to film on mountain courses.
Yeah. Hold on, Dave. Someone's ordering me Five Guys real quick. Brady, what's up?
Cheeseburger or regular burger?
Cheeseburger, please.
Cheeseburger, I knew it. Alright, see you.
Let's go. Five Guys. Let's go.
So who's he got
Sorry.
coming over? You already got 3 guys in the house.
JP's bringing me
two more.
food. JP called me, and I think that's why he came down here.
Oh, you didn't laugh at my joke.
Dude, I'm losing my mind this winter, I swear.
Why? Oh, I didn't put a day on my calendar. Remind me to put a day on my calendar.
Go do it right now. Go do it right now. So Dave has this thing. I'll explain this while he does this, and then we'll kind of start wrapping up. Dave does this thing where he has a board, and he marks how many days he puts on, how many days he's on snow.
It's that little piece of cardboard up there on the wall.
I love it.
Just covered in stickers, just keeping track of how many days I ski.
Love it.
Been doing it since I was in college.
I love
I refuse to stop.
I don't do that because I'm just out there for fun.
Hey, I'm out there for fun. I just like to,
Yeah, it's something to
keep
commemorate
track.
on.
I'm not a vert monster though.
No.
I'm not one of those people that's like, dude, I got 100,000 feet of vert this year, and I'm like, I skied 70 days. I'm happy.
100,000? That's nothing. You know how many vert I've gotten in the last 3 years?
I don't know, Ian. I never tracked my vert. Period.
Take a guess. Take one guess.
2 million
In the last 3 years combined, or each season?
each season.
Each season, I've hit 1 million vert every season.
Yeah, you also ski 140 days.
Okay. And?
The normal person, this skis like 40 days a year. All right.
Yeah, that's fair. Is that it?
Yeah, no.
Is that all we had?
I think that's all we had in the disc golf world coming out. Yeah. Keep an eye out. Ian and I are exchanging Christmas presents. We may put out a small video on that.
Yours right there. Your range is also there.
Ooh, sweet. I have your money for that.
Thank you.
This is Ian's.
Nice.
Just a random box.
Yeah. We'll make a video on that.
Yeah.
For sure.
The best thing to buy disc golfers.
Yeah. Hey, I know, like, this is our last thing, and then I'm gonna say sayonara because I have Five Guys coming. But if you guys like have videos that you want the world to see, and you might not want it on your own Instagram or your own YouTube, let us know. And if it's disc golf related, we'll probably throw it up because we're not playing a whole ton. Yeah. That's
Oh,
all I got.
absolutely. I kind of had an idea as well that we never made a post about. The bad throw of the week.
Oh yeah.
I think it would be hysterical if we could get people to send us their bad throws, and then we like go through them to find the best ones, and we put out like a top 3 of the week kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome.
What we
Yeah.
should, Dave, what we should do is every month we go through like YouTube content that's been put out recently, and we rate shots. Like, we rate funny shots, good shots, aces, bad shots, and we put them on a 1 to 10. And whoever gets the top spot, maybe wins a prize or something. I don't know.
That would be fun.
If you guys want to see more stuff like this, please make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. We really appreciate it. Go tell your friends about us. We have a lot of big news coming in the next few podcasts. Maybe not next podcast, but the podcast after, almost guaranteed. I'm really excited about it. Dave's really excited
I'm
about
excited
it.
about it.
I think all of Another Round's going to be excited about it when we release to the public.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace!